I'm Anna,
And I'm Fran.
and you're listening to Murder Words. Welcome back to Murder Words.
Sorry.
It's like an urge every time now. I can't help it. I'm just going to expect it. It's happening every single time. So, we have Fran telling her story this week. Again, I have no idea. I know we've talked about this before, but I don't know if you guys know, but we don't tell each other what we're covering every week. And a lot of times we haven't heard that story. So our reactions are like the real reactions. Like that's what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I'm sure once we start to get into the more popular cases, it's not going to be like that. But okay, let's just get right into it.
I know. I don't know what we'd ever do if we like messed up a recording and had to record it because it just wouldn't be right.
It wouldn't be right.
It wouldn't be
also,
right. If they just throw it away.
I am also a little nervous that one time we'll like research the same person without knowing. Like I would die if someone if you like started telling a story and it was like the same one I was gonna do the week after.
At what point does the other one admit they
I don't know. Okay.
Okay. So today's story, I'm not gonna really say. We're gonna really focus on like the kind of like the victim of the story.
Okay.
So we're gonna be talking about it like through that person's eyes. Starting out.
Okay.
Okay. So in 2016, 911 dispatchers in O'Fallon, Missouri received a frantic call from a woman claiming that a man was trying to get into her vehicle. She was refusing to get into the vehicle and begging for help. The woman was screaming to be left alone by the man, and the man was like, you could hear like banging on the walls.
Oh my gosh.
And she was like screaming frantically. Police would later find out by the caller, whose name was Pam Hupp, that the man had climbed into her SUV, held a knife against her throat, and demanded that she be taken to a bank to get a man named Russ's money. She was terrified for her life. She was terrified for her life. She said that she knocked the knife out of his hand and then ran like inside of her house because her garage was open. But the man like followed her, and she ended up grabbing like her .38 Ruger revolver that was laying on her desk in her room. And she shot the man twice.
Yeah, don't blame her.
So she claimed he was coming at her like a madman and shot him in self-defense. At the end of the 911 call, because this is all being recorded, so at the end of the 911 call, you can hear the gunshots with the thud. And then it goes silent.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Started off strong.
Right there at the 911 call. When police arrived, they found Louis Gumpenberger laying in the floor dead. Louis was a 33-year-old man who had some mental impairments due to a car accident. I can't remember if he was hit by a drunk driver or if he was driving drunk and hit somebody. I'm not sure which one it was. But in his pocket was a note with specific instructions that said, I'm going to read you the note real quick.
Okay.
Because it was like a list. It said, kidnap Hupp. Get Russ's money from Hupp's bank. Kill Hupp. And then take Hupp back to the house and get rid of her. Make it look like Russ's wife. Make sure knife sticking out of neck.
Why would you write that down? Why would you ever think that was a good idea?
And at the bottom it said, in return for a reward of $10,000. Police were like, what? Like, what's his note?
I am like, what?
What's his note going on?
What is
right
happening?
On Lewis's person, he also had $900 and $100 bills in his pocket. So immediately after the shooting, Hupp voluntarily went down to the O'Fallon Police Department. Her first words in the interview, which was recorded, was she asked if it was in fact going to be filmed. Because she said, I always appear on the news with Chris Hayes. And police found this super suspicious.
What?
We're getting to it. So, talk a little bit about Pam.
Okay.
Pam grew up in a Catholic household. She was the third of 4 kids. Her mother was a school teacher, and their father was a union man who worked at Union Electric. Very typical growing up.
Yeah.
Pam rode bikes with her friends. She was known to go Christmas caroling. The only thing
That's
that
precious.
I know. Christmas, or she was also, like the only thing you can really say bad is she like would skip Sunday school sometimes. And she was in a very Catholic family. Straight rebel.
Yeah.
Listen, one time I actually stole a car. My best friend's mom's car. We stole her vehicle when we were 14 during church service. Drove it out to the middle of nowhere. Realized we were in a field with cows. And then turned around and came back and never got busted for it. I'm just telling secrets today.
I see that.
That was a secret.
That seems to be a theme with you because you also took the van.
I did take the van.
From our last job. So it's fine.
Grand Theft Auto. That just reminded me of that. I think that's what we did. That's what you do. We literally were in the middle of church, stole her keys, took it. No wonder I ended up where I did. Okay, so anyways, back to this. Pam was a good kid. All right. She went to high school. Everyone in high school liked her. They said that she was always really loud and like in a good way, like laughing all the time, always with a smile on her face.
Bubbly
Bubbly,
type of thing.
Yep, no drama. They said they couldn't really remember her like talking behind people's backs. You know, she was like a pretty average like with academics, but they said she was like a little bit boy crazy at the same time, which sounds exactly like a high school girl.
Yeah.
And she did end up starting to date a guy in her senior year. He was part of like the National Honor Society, super smart, apparently really nice too. So, and 3 months after they met, they ended up getting married, and that was while they were, you know, they went to prom together. So like right after her senior year, they ended up getting married together. Turns out Pam was pregnant.
Oh,
and being from
that's why
they said they had to get married.
Oh, so their family wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, so you know, she came from a Catholic family, and so obviously, like, you know, Pam's mom and dad was probably not very pleased with the fact that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
Unwed. You know, her friends, Pam's friends said that like she felt like resentment about this, but she never really let it on, that she had to get married just because she was pregnant.
Yeah. I feel like I would too. Have that same resentment.
I would too.
Yeah.
So the marriage ended up lasting 6 years. And then soon after her divorce, Pam ended up marrying a man named Mark Hupp. Mark was kind of the opposite of this guy. Mark was like really easygoing. He was like he played baseball, like minor league baseball.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then he was also like a carpenter. Like he was like a very like laid back kind of guy. So in 2001, they were settled in O'Fallon, Missouri, and there they started to like flip houses. At that time, Pam took a position with a local like State Farm office, and people there said that she was like super well liked, super funny, and they said that they found her like incredibly intelligent. Like they didn't understand why she was working at State Farm.
Is that not a good job to have?
I thought it would be, but I think she was just doing like clerical work there.
Oh, okay.
Like the secretary.
Like they thought she had a lot of potential.
She should be the CEO.
Something. Okay, yeah.
She was like super smart, and she should strive for higher.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so too. Her boss did say that she did tend to lie sometimes. She claimed that she was like random lies, like that she was like cleared by the FBI on certain clearance levels. Yep. And like just random things like that. And like they found like some forged documentation with her with work too. Like just things that didn't really add up to who she was and personality. So it was at this job that she would meet her best friend, Betsy Farah. And throughout this, like Pam's like living like in a really good neighborhood. She was like really well liked by her neighbors, but she also wasn't like afraid to call someone out in her neighborhood. Like she wasn't like just like a pushover with it. But then neighbors started to notice like some weird things, and Pam ended up getting blamed for them. Like one thing was like one of her neighbors received like anonymous mean notes, and then another one had like some bones turned up on their yard. But her husband was like a hunter, so they thought that maybe she had done that like in spite, but nothing like crazy.
Wow.
I don't know. This is what I'm telling you. There are mean-spirited anonymous letters and some random bones. Just typical suburban things.
Typical. I mean, I feel like now I live in just like, you know what I mean? This is what I imagine. If I went outside to get the mail and there was a mean letter and bones, I feel like I'd be kind of scared.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'm saying it's probably That's a reasonable reaction. But her neighbors said that they didn't really know if Pam did it or not, but it was believed to have been Pam.
Okay.
Okay? So Pam did, she had a really good life, except for her, she had to get married really young and things like that, which she was really resentful about. But basically, she had a really good life. Some tragic things would end up happening in her life, though. Her best friend, Betsy, would be diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010. And her mom would unfortunately pass too close to that time.
Oh my gosh.
So Pam and Betsy, they had a separation period, but then whenever Pam found out that Betsy had cancer, she stepped back up to her side.
Yeah.
And Pam was really good to her through her treatments. She even stood by her. Betsy went through remission for a while, and then Pam stepped back up when it came back. The cancer came back. You know how that goes.
Good friend. Yeah.
Yeah. She was diagnosed with breast cancer. So Betsy and Pam, they actually became such good friends. She was always there for her, trying to assist her through her treatments. That Betsy actually switched her life insurance policy over to Pam versus her husband.
Oh, that's a little much.
Well,
very strange.
Well, the thing is, Betsy said she had 2 daughters, and she was fearful that her husband would squander the money.
Okay. That makes a little bit more sense, but still...
And her kids were, young, in their teenage years, too. So she was also worried that they would, buy 3 cars and be done.
Yeah, so did she think that Pam would, distribute it how she wanted it?
Yes, she wanted Pam to put it in a trust for her daughters.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that, too. So Pam took all of her treatments, and then Betsy found out that her cancer had spread, and the diagnosis wasn't looking good. But Pam stayed by her side, and she was very protective of her friend as well. On December 27th, 2021, Betsy contacted Pam and said that she didn't need a ride to one of her treatments because one of her friends were going to take her instead, which Pam did not feel right about. She thought that was really weird for her to do that.
Yeah, it is. She's already going there, right? So why would she...
Yeah. So Pam actually ended up showing up to the treatment just to go in there and sit with her during it, which, Betsy said that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
So at 9 p.m. that night of December 27th, 2011, 911 received a phone call from a man named Russ Farrer, who was Betsy's husband.
Oh, Russ is Betsy's husband?
Russ is Betsy's husband.
Okay. This is coming full circle.
Coming full circle.
Okay.
Russ on the phone claiming that Betsy had killed herself. He had come home and found her lying on the floor. Her wrists were slashed, and one of their kitchen knives were sticking out of her throat.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So he automatically thought that she killed herself because she had made attempts before, and she got that recent diagnosis of terminal cancer.
Why would you stab yourself in the neck?
Well,
I've never heard of that.
Police determined that she had been dead for over an hour before the 911 call. And in fact, it was not a suicide, but a very vicious murder. She had actually been stabbed over 55 times.
My laundry's done. 55 times. That is a bit of overkill.
55 times. So obviously police are thinking this is a crime of passion.
Yeah.
55 times. So police go through the house. They found blood on one of Russ's slippers in the bedroom when Betsy was actually found in the living room.
I'm feeling like Russ is acting pretty sus right now.
Well, sus.
I didn't mean for that to rhyme. That's just what my stepson says, so...
Just getting right in there with it.
You're acting sus. That's what he says. Okay, keep
Stop
going.
it. He also was deemed as acting suspicious.
Sus.
Sus.
Yeah.
You right there, the sus flipped right in there. Talking about the incident, he would randomly go into details about his neighborhood, then he would all of a sudden cry. Police felt like he was being over the top with it, putting on an act. So Russ was taken back to the station. There they questioned him for over 10 hours over her death. Repeatedly saying that he did kill her, and he would repeatedly say, no, I didn't kill her. And then they informed him that, in fact, Betsy had been murdered, not committed suicide, and that they felt like he should have recognized that instantly with 55 stab wounds on her body. Russ volunteered to do a polygraph test, which he failed.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I thought he was going to be like the innocent one.
Well,
It was just getting framed with him.
Police interviewed Pam, who told them that she dropped Betsy off that afternoon around 7 o'clock. But she also told them that Betsy had planned on speaking to Russ that evening about Betsy moving in with Pam's mom's old house. Because basically Betsy was saying that she was not afraid of Russ, but his temper had gotten so bad that she didn't want to be around it during her final months.
Yeah.
With all this, the police charged Russ with murder.
Was there, evidence other than circumstantial? They were just like, we feel like you...
They charged him with murder.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like 2 or 3 days after the incident, they charged him with murder because his blood was found on the slipper. He reported them dead, he reported her dead, but also she had been dead for over an hour.
Yeah.
And then corroborating stories where he had a motive where she would plan on moving out of the house.
That's true.
So police worked with Pam to ensure that Russ would be found guilty of this murder. When Pam was interviewed, she placed his vehicle at the house, which is weird because Russ, I guess, played cards every Tuesday night with some of his friends.
So he wasn't supposed to be there.
So he wasn't supposed to be there. His friends, though, they did interview his friends, and his friends did say that he was there. So police were kind of on both sides with it. Pam also said that Russ was a big drinker, and that Betsy had actually started a note on her computer to send an email to Pam saying that she wanted to break it off with Russ.
Yeah.
So she encouraged them to look at her laptop and find. So Pam's really going after Russ.
Yeah.
So at the trial, Russ's defense produced receipts from various places around the town saying that he could have not killed his wife because of the timeline. There were receipts showing and videotape showing that he was in certain gas stations at certain times, buying cigarettes, getting gas, or buying food. The defense also said that Betsy called Russ to say that she left her keys and for him to leave the door unlocked. Basically, they're trying really hard to make it where someone else did this. Provide reasonable doubt.
I feel like that. If you have video of you somewhere during murder time, that should be the end of it, right?
Well, police said that he was trying to visibly make himself with an alibi.
Yeah.
That he was because there's periods of time in between it, and they said he still had time to go back and kill her, but he wanted to make sure he had specific receipts on these times so that he wouldn't be implicated in it.
Okay.
So, and then he also, the defense also said that Betsy called and said, "Hey, leave the door unlocked because I forgot my keys in my house." So they're again trying to put someone else into this murder.
Yeah.
That someone could have randomly ran in there and stabbed her 55 times.
Okay.
But nothing was stolen as well.
Yeah.
So they're trying to find any kind of reasonable doubt for Russ. They even throw Pam in the mix, saying that she even had a motive to do it for the money, for her life insurance money.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The defense even asked Pam to take a polygraph test, which she said she couldn't do to a medical condition. She said that she had 3 previous brain injuries. And they said, well, you're going to need a doctor's note stating that did happen. So Pam sent her doctor a note saying, "Dear Dr. Fisher, could you please write Detective Kaiser a letter stating that I am not able to do a polygraph test due to medical reasons. You don't need any more detail than that."
She said you don't need any more detail?
That's what the note said. She sent him a note saying this.
Okay.
Asking the doctor...
Seems kind of bossy, but it's fine.
Kind of bossy, right? Asking the doctor to write a note stating that she couldn't take the polygraph test. The doctor sent back a note saying Pamela Hupp is unable to undergo a polygraph due to her medical conditions. So the doctor did confirm it, that she was unable to take a polygraph test. So in November 2013, this is when the trial is all going on, Pam did receive Betsy's life insurance policy. She received $150,000. The defense, kept saying this was the motive for the crime, but she's just trying to put this on Russ. But through pressure, Pam finally did put $100,000 into a fund for Betsy's daughters. And she claimed the other $50,000 went to a family friend's daughter, whose mother had also died from breast cancer, and that Betsy was understood that this would be happening after she died.
Seems
sus.
Suspicious.
Even reviewing jury notes after the trial, one person even wrote they're trying to pin this on Pam. So it was very obvious what the defense was doing.
Yeah.
So eventually Russ was found guilty in the murder of his wife. He received a sentence of life without parole. But, not much media attention even happened to this case. But you would think, this sounds like a case you would hear a lot of media attention about. But they really didn't. The only one who really investigated it was Fox 2 News' Chris Hayes, which is who she was talking about in the police interview.
Stop it. That's who she was on TV with or whatever she said.
Mm-hmm. So, Pam did suffer a lot throughout this trial. People did suspect her from what the defense had put up. And people were more angry about the fact that she inherited this money and then hadn't went directly into Betsy's kids' fund.
Yeah.
But Pam also quieted all this because she kept telling everyone, I don't have really a need for money. Why would I do this? Because I don't have any bills. I don't have any habits. I flip houses. I work full time. My husband works full time as a carpenter. We don't need money. I still drive she would even say I still drive my old car, which was a 2004 car in 2013.
Yeah.
She's I don't really need money. And they also looked into her background and saw that she didn't have any kind of childhood traumas that would make her a klepto or anything.
Yeah.
Just a normal person. This just happened to happen to her. So people really got onto her though, still about how long it took to set up the trust.
Yeah. That is weird.
Well, Pam said she had a reason for this. She claimed that during the trial her mother had died of Alzheimer's. And they checked and that was true. She did die.
Oh.
So Pam's mom, Shirley, she was reported to show signs of dementia, but what Pam did not say was that her mother actually died from a fall from her third-story apartment.
What?
2 of the upright metal bars had broken and 4 seemed to be bent to create a large hole. It's literally the railings that you see on those apartment buildings, the little white railings.
I am in shock right now.
She also, though, had high levels of Ambien in her system. Police suspected that she had maybe taken one, forgot she had taken one, and then took 7 more.
Stop it. Don't say 7 more.
Pam was the last person to be seen with her mom. But she did inform staff that if her mom didn't show up for breakfast, that they needed to check on her.
Why? Was she sick?
She told them this. She randomly just told them this.
I don't like the vibes I'm getting from Pam. She's doing the most right now.
Well, staff didn't do this. They never checked on her. And then, she ended up falling from that balcony. Pam even tried to sue the apartment complex for the faulty railing and not checking on her mom during that period of time. During the settlement for everything, Pam ended up receiving $500,000 in life insurance policies for her mom's death. For her actual mom's will was for $500,000, her life insurance policy.
And that's not from a settlement.
No, it's not from settlement. That was just from her mom's policy. But she did have 3 other siblings, so she had to split that.
Oh, okay.
Still a good amount of money.
Yeah.
You're okay, but just $125,000.
Yeah, no big deal. Pocket change.
So the reporter, Chris Hayes, he's not happy with this. He goes after Pam. He thinks that Pam's up to something.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like her, right?
I feel like she is also up to something.
He thought that her mom's accidental death was bullshit.
Yeah.
And that no way a 210-pound woman, elderly woman, could break through those kind of bars. Because it literally shows all the bars were bent and Like, she didn't go over top, she went through. So he's like, there's no way that woman did that. Police, however, did not think that any foul play was involved. But during this time, Pam emptied Betsy's daughter's trust fund of $100,000 because it was set in a trust fund where she could remove it if she wanted to. So she
Why
emptied
would
it
she
out.
do that?
She emptied it out. She claimed that she had the right to do it, so she did it. There's nothing document signing that she had to put this money in the trust. She wanted it, she took it out.
And, like, spent it? Or, like, she was just like, it's not going to you anymore? To the kids?
She just withdrew it.
Dude.
So
Wow.
on February 2015, Russ was offered another trial. They appealed his sentence. He was offered another trial.
Good.
Reviewing evidence, the defense heavily implied that Pam was really the person who had murdered Betsy. They even went as far as saying that Pam had, planted blood on the slippers, because they found no evidence of like someone walking through the house with blood on the slippers. It was just on the slippers, and they said it was really unreasonable that he would murder someone then go put on slippers.
Yeah.
Weird, right? You know what I mean?
Stupid. Yeah.
That's stupid. They even found evidence that documented Pam showing that she was the one who actually wrote that document on Betsy's computer.
How did they find that out?
Well, they found out that Pam had emailed it to Betsy's computer and then had made it just a separate document.
Stupid.
They never checked.
Doesn't she know people like Garcia are out there and they will find that out?
Well, this department was not funded like that because they did not check.
Wow.
They also did not check that the 12-year-old girl that she gave $50,000 to never existed.
Yeah.
They also never checked, and this is that thing that Chris Hayes guy checks out later. Pam had actually made like a card, like a flyer of a random family saying that their so-and-so had cancer and she was raising money for them. And this guy, Chris Hayes, who was the reporter, actually found the family, who it was actually just a Christmas photo of theirs.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. And went to them and was like, hey, did you know that this woman was impersonating your family for funds? And they had no idea.
Stop it.
Police never even found that out. The reporter did.
Wow.
All in all, rightly so, Russ was cleared of all charges.
Yeah. Listen, it is totally possible to be like falsely accused of a crime.
Yeah, it is.
That is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Like that thought is and literally you just have no say.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone can. That scares me.
He spent 4 years in prison.
Like that
happened in 2011. He was granted a trial in 2015. He spent 4 years in prison right after the murder of his wife.
God, see, I can't imagine. Okay.
So, on August 16th, about a year and a half later, Pam would call the 911 O'Fallon police, saying that Louis Guppenberger had attacked her in an attempt for Russ to get back the money that he had gotten through Betsy's life insurance policy.
Yeah.
So we're back to the 911 call.
Okay. And this is while she's being investigated, I'm assuming? Okay.
This is right after that. This is right after Russ's release from prison. He cleared of all charges about a year later.
Okay.
Police interviewed Pam right after, this attack in her home, but they ended up letting her go. But police definitely knew that something was up.
Yeah.
Like, this is too weird. Something's up. They knew that Pam was being looked at for Betsy's murder because Russ had filed a wrongful incarceration suit against the city.
Yeah.
Saying like,
don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him one bit at all. So Russ was in the middle of the civil suit, and then Pam was being brought up during the civil suit.
Yeah.
So they thought that was weird. So they went and, they decided to investigate Pam a little bit. So a few days after this murder, or this 911 call,
Yeah.
a woman came into the police station. She claimed that mid-morning, the day of Lewis's murder, that a blonde woman had introduced herself as a Dateline producer and offered her $1,000 to reenact a 911 call for the show.
Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Are we saying that Pam showed up to someone? Does Pam have blonde hair?
Pam has blonde hair.
And wanted them to why?
Reenact a 911 call for $1,000.
Why would she need someone to reenact that?
She said she was part of the show and she just needed someone for the, for the scene.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the woman was like, do you have a business card? And she did not. And she didn't see a camera crew either.
Wow, she didn't think that through at all.
Nope, she did not. So she ends up getting into the vehicle, but you see, like, her get out really quickly again.
Yeah.
Because she realizes, whoa, there's something weird with this.
Yeah. What was she reenacting it for? Like, was she recording it on her phone? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, she said that she was, like, part of this crew and she needed assistance with a 911 call scenario.
Okay.
So they reviewed footage from this event and they did see Pam's gray 2016 GMC Acadia with the license plate clearly visible that it was, in fact, Pam that approached her.
So she bought a new car with this money? It wasn't
Eventually
her 2005 anymore?
She did buy a new
She
car.
upgraded.
She upgraded that old rinky-dink car. Soon after this, another man came forward and claimed that he had been offered the same deal.
I don't understand what's happening.
Oh, you're going to get to it. So, police started to follow evidence. Finally, they're like, okay,
Yeah, I'm
something's
confused with the police department
really,
here.
really up with this. So, police searched Pam's home. They found a $100 bill that matched the bills from Lewis's pockets, the $900 he had in $100 bills. This bill had like the same numbers, type of numbers, categorizing that they had been the same exact bills, but drew at the same time. They also found video surveillance of Pam, attempting to get all these people into her home to do the state line recording. And they found evidence of Pam shopping at a Dollar Tree a few days before the 911 call, where she purchased a large knife, pens, and a notebook. The same pen and notebook that was found on Lewis's body.
She's not
All this,
thinking
so much
straight. What is
all
happening?
Of this, and then she uses the same notepad that she got at the dollar store.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So Pam was brought in and faced with this evidence. They recorded this too. When she was saying, this guy's always on my case, like that interviewer's always on my case.
Yeah.
They recorded this interview, and you can see during the interview that Pam is looking on the table at things, and police say they're going to step out and talk a little bit and then come back in.
Okay.
One of their tactics.
Yeah.
Coming in. And Pam excuses herself to go to the bathroom.
Is she allowed to just...
She's in the police station. She asked her if she can go to the bathroom. They're like, okay, cool, go to the bathroom, girl. There, she stabbed herself in the wrist and neck with a ballpoint pen.
What?
This was all recorded. Her getting the pen, like feeling her neck for like a good spot to stab herself in. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That hurts me.
Yeah, she was like feeling her neck. You can see it on the camera, like she's feeling her neck, puts the pen underneath, like in her hand, and she goes and she stabs herself.
Does she die?
Well, she does not die. She's taken in for care, medical care, and then she's arrested for Lewis's murder.
Yeah. Like clearly you
she
are.
did it.
Yeah.
So she awaited trial on bond. She was not kept incarcerated during this time. And eventually in January of 2017, she was brought to court. She was looking at the death penalty in Lewis's case because they knew that she had faked bringing Lewis into her home by promising him $1,000 for the 911 call.
Yeah.
And that's why he was going along with it, banging on the doors, screaming like, I'm going to get you. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah.
Because he was in a role play.
Oh, okay. Wow, that took me a long time to put
I
together
could
what
tell.
was
I was
happening.
like, I'm still feeding it to you, but you're not getting it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Okay.
She
okay, I
hired this
see what
man
she was doing.
who had
But
met
why?
Go ahead.
Why was she? I guess it wouldn't have mattered if it was a male or female.
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't matter.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, she planned this note trying to make it look like Russ was trying to murder her.
Yeah.
And hired some random person off the street to reinforce that Russ was in fact guilty and she would no longer be looked at for Betsy's murder.
Okay.
See?
That makes sense.
All goes together.
Yeah.
So she was looking at the death penalty. They were not playing with her. Eventually, though, she did not have to face the death penalty. She took an Alford plea instead. Which an Alford plea is basically when a person acknowledges the state has enough evidence to prosecute them, but they're still claiming their innocence.
I think I've watched a documentary where someone else has this.
Mm-hmm. It's the staircase.
The staircase.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
He took an Alford plea as well. You're still guilty, but you're not admitting guilt.
Yeah.
Just it's not really that common.
I remember them talking about it in that documentary. It's like very rare that
that actually happens.
Is he out? He's out, right? Because of that?
I think so.
I can't remember.
I'm not quite
It's been a long time.
We're on this case, Anna.
Yeah, sorry.
Pam said that she was absolutely innocent, but she wanted to spare her family the ugliness of a trial.
Okay.
Even though she was in the middle of all kinds of civil suits and had in fact went on trial for Russ, had spoke during Russ's trial.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards with it. This is too far for her family. She has since then appealed and has had absolutely no luck.
Yeah.
And Betsy's mom actually filed a $3 million lawsuit against her, and she won, but Pam's incarcerated, so she's never going to get that money.
Yeah.
Recently, she tried to appeal to get her $1,200 stimulus check from the
Stop
government.
it.
And yeah, they jumped right on that and gave it to Betsy's mom instead.
Good.
Because they didn't want her to get any kind of money or financial assistance while being incarcerated. They also took it. They also made it where Betsy's mom, if there was ever like a movie or book deal, because they thought that she would eventually sell her rights to that.
Yeah.
That Betsy's mom would be the person who got that stuff.
Good.
Got money for it, right? So luckily, this year, they announced that movie star Renee Zellweger is set to star in a movie about her. It's like a series, like a 6-part series. The series is going to be called The Thing About Pam.
Stop it. Mm-hmm. She probably loves that.
Yeah. So I bet she did. She, when she went into jail, she looked like, I hate to say this, but like a Karen.
Yeah.
And now she just looks evil. Like, I swear to you.
I imagined her to look like a Karen.
She is evil looking now. She looks like the witches that we were talking about before this. She looks evil. Yeah, she's still incarcerated. And that's the story of Pam.
Dude, that one blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a long time to keep up, clearly, but that blew my mind. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I like how you wrote it, because in the beginning, I really thought she was the victim.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
You trickster.
I was going for it.
Okay, so we do have a new donor. Her name is Becky White, and we love her. She's been a huge supporter since the very beginning. So she also has a podcast too. We'll put the link in one of our posts so you guys can check that out as well. And again, if you guys want us to cover anyone specifically, send us an email at murderwordspodcast@gmail.com. We also have a website, murderwords.com, and we're on Facebook and Instagram. So, yeah, let us know what you guys want to hear, and we love you, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.